Louisiana, is it a lien or a deed state? Let's get right into it with this video. Louisiana is unique in a lot of ways. First of all, it used to be part of France. So that's going to have a big effect on how this state turns out for us. In this video, I'm going to show you some really unique ways to make a lot of money in the state of Louisiana. And plus, it's just fun to visit. You get the French Quarter, you get all that jazz and everything else with it. In this video, we're going to show you exactly how you take advantage of what we call the leftovers for big money. Here's another thing. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to all of these videos. Seriously, without you, these don't happen. I'm not doing these for my health. I love coming out there and teaching people things on this. I've been doing this for 30 years. And the fact that you guys are subscribing and hitting the like and putting the comments in there means a lot to me. That means it's worth the energy that I'm putting into it. So please continue to do that. If you have any questions on any video, including this one, just type in your questions in there. I personally answer all of those. So let's get into Louisiana. Louisiana is a lien state, but understand there's no such thing as counties in Louisiana. They're parishes. So if you understand the history of Louisiana, the Louisiana Purchase, what's his name, Napoleon did a secret deal with Spain and bought all of the Louisiana Purchase from Spain secretly and then turned around and sold it to Thomas Jefferson for $14 million. Now, a lot of people don't realize this. When Napoleon was exiled from France, one of his places that he was going to go was actually down to New Orleans. There was a whole part of the French Quarter that was designed for him to just live in exile. And for whatever reason, that didn't turn out. But that's a big factor in what Louisiana is all about when it comes to liens or deed. It is a lien state, okay? But it's kind of quirky. So when you go to bid in Louisiana, you're bidding on a lien on the property, but you're bidding on ownership of the property. Hang tight with me. So the penalty is a 5% penalty on the amount of the lien, and it's 1% a month with a 3-year redemption period. So at the end of this whole thing, it could be huge, over 40%, okay? But here's the thing. You're not bidding on the amount of the lien. You're not bidding on the interest rate. You're bidding on ownership if you should take ownership of the property. Bear with me again on this. Okay, so I say I'll take, 80% ownership, 70% ownership, 50% ownership. So if you foreclose on the property, okay, you have that percentage of owner on the property. But here's the quirky thing on it, okay? If you get 70% owners of the property, that doesn't mean you have majority rule. It's still common law, meaning whoever the owner of that property is has 50 and you have 50. If they don't want to sell the property, you're kind of out of luck, but you have whatever percentage you bid on that property responsibility for the future taxes on this. A little weird on that, okay? So that's how it works in that aspect of it. But there's another side to Louisiana that you need to understand, and that's the leftover liens. So like any lien state out there, once a lien goes up for sale, it can't come back up again, okay? So be careful with this, okay? You have to do your research in Louisiana, and I'm telling you, every state out there has their gems. And I've had some students that have done very, very, very well in Louisiana. But like anything else out there, pick your counties, figure out the demographics, understand what the average price of homes are, knowing where you're going to be at with that, and then make your bids based on all of that, okay? Now understand that Louisiana is kind of a quasi-lien deed state. So there are ways that you can buy the property, and I want to go through that in detail right now. So the unique thing about Louisiana is this, is once you find something in inventory, you have to say, I'm interested in this property, then and put a deposit down on that. Once the deposit is made on that, the county will go, okay, we'll bring this up for sale. Your deposit technically is kind of the opening bid on that property. Now, if somebody outbids you, you get your deposit back. If you're the winning bidder, that deposit goes towards the purchase of that property and you're good to go. So it is quasi-lien deed. Lien up front, deed on the back. So I've had some people make a lot of money on that back side of there in Louisiana. There's tons of things that you can do with this. Now keep this in mind. It doesn't matter the fact that you're in Louisiana, the fact that Napoleon was, interested in that and sold it to Jefferson and all that good stuff. Everything remains the same. In other words, you got to do your research. So let's talk about this for a minute. When I'm doing any state, including Louisiana, I'm going to figure out all the factors that we talked about before. Which counties, what the demographics, what's the economy, what's driving those economies. All of those things are going to be factors on whether I'm buying a lien or, in this situation, a deed on the property. Now remember, if I'm putting a deposit down to go to that deed sale, that means that I could potentially be owning that property. So I'm going to want to know everything about the property that I possibly can, short of going in there and doing an inspection on the property, which isn't going to be possible. Okay, so I want to know what the average price of homes are in that area. I want the actual resale value on these properties. What's happening in that neighborhood? I want to know how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms. You can do a somewhat inspection of a property from the outside, but you're never going to know what's going on in that property. So you're going to have to assume there's going to be some rehab availability on that property. Make sure you have all of your ducks in a row. I want to know who my contractors are. I want to know what their reputation is on this, how long they've been doing deals on this. I want locksmiths. I want all that stuff, because if I am the successful bidder, and that's going to happen, I want to have all that in place. So let's talk about that. I just won the bid on the property. What are some of the first things you need to do right away? Number one, you're going to want to secure the property. Okay, so in other words, that means going and changing all the locks on the door. If there's nobody in the property and it needs cleaning up, I want to do that immediately. Change the locks. Okay, other thing I want to do is get a lock box on that property and put it on the back of the property. I don't want that up front where everybody can see that I have a lock box, because there might not be anybody in the property. Okay, change the locks. Secure the property means more than just changing the locks up. Could put some boards up on the window if that's what's necessary. I want to secure the property. Number two, right away, I want to start cleaning up the property. Okay, I'm not going to hire a contractor to do this. They're the most expensive in this situation. What I want to do is I want to hire one of those 1-800-JUNK guys. They'll come out there and clean everything out of that property. Don't get nostalgic on me. Get rid of everything. If you're going to do an extensive rehab on the interior of that property, make sure all of that stuff goes too. Refrigerators, cabinets, toilets. If those things are all going, let the junk people take it. That's what they're really good at. You don't want to pay a contractor for doing that. Okay. Number three, okay, you want to secure the property, junk. Number three is going to be start clearing title immediately on the property. Okay. This is going to take time with anything. That's the last thing you want to delay on. Okay. I want to start cleaning that title immediately. Find a good attorney in the area that understands real estate foreclosures with tax deeds and start the cleaning of the title on that property. If I can swing it, let's say the property is vacant, nobody's in there. I want to have some of my contractors that I've been contacting coming out and giving me their bids on the property. Okay, sometimes, and this happened by accident a number of years ago, where I had several contractors coming at the same time because I only had one day to do it. And it was kind of nice because they were all sitting there looking at each other going, oh, wow, he's got more than one contractor. I better put a good bid in here. You know, kind of, what they didn't realize, one guy was the roof and one guy was doing this. So they really didn't overlap on any of that stuff. But you want to have the contractors out there so you can start getting bids on this property immediately. Okay. You also want to start talking to the neighbors. This is a big deal. Okay. So I want to go around and find out what's going on with the property. Okay. Any history that anybody can give me. When I talk to a neighbor, though, I don't say I'm the owner of the property across the street. I just bought it at auction. I say I represent the owners of the property, okay, across the street. If you have anything that you need, if you see anything goofy over there, I hand them my card, I give them my cell phone number so they can text me immediately. And I make sure that I've got people on this and we're going to make it happen. These people have become invaluable in all the deals I've done. They have contacts, they know what's going on, they can give me some history. I had one guy that was mowing my lawn for me because he was so appreciative of the fact that I'm taking this blight on his neighborhood and making it better. This happened just recently. I wasn't at the property, but one of my people were at the property, and I said, you'd be surprised at what happens there. And the neighbor came across the street and said, hey, I heard you're fixing up this property, old man so-and-so's house. My family owns a real estate company here in town. Is there anything you need? And he literally was like looking around like he was getting punked, like there was going to be a hidden camera somewhere. And he's like, Sean told me this was going to happen, you know? So he ended up getting us a demo guy, a roof guy, and a painter all in the same day on that. I mean, right? He has rental properties out there. the market is, he's attuned to the market, and he's got all those people for him. So these are the little things you want to look at. You want to make sure those things, those are like instantaneous things that you have to do immediately when you get a property anywhere, not just in Louisiana. There's so many facets to this. Hiring contractors, I got videos on that. Heck, I've got training on that. Matter of fact, I've got some free training for you. If you want some free training, just hit higginsmethod.com down below. I've got some free training, brand new. I'm super proud of this. And I've also got a book for you. Once you sign up for the training, I'll send you out a PDF on America's Best Kept Secret on Investing. We'll get that book out to you. You'll enjoy both of those. God bless and good luck.